Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Arizona Craft Beer Reviews. We're here with Keith Chapman, one of the owners of Haus Brewing, which I'm very excited about. We're here at Haus Brewing. It's our first on-location episode, right, man?
Yeah, Haus Brewing up here in Fountain Hills, right off Shea Boulevard, where the Fry's food and grocery store is. Great stuff. We as I pulled in, Keith, you guys had all kinds of, were those brand new barrels or kettles out there? What's going
new
on
fermenters, actually. Yeah, we're expanding. So we're adding 1,500 square feet actually to our brewing capacity, or our production facility, and hopefully double production by the end of the year.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So things are going well.
Yes, we are growing.
That's awesome. Well, for those of you who don't know, Matt mentioned Haus is out here in Fountain Hills. Mm-hmm. You're the only brewery out here.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And way more accessible than like the back corner of Fountain Hills. It's right off of Shea, just as you're coming in from Scottsdale.
We're on the border of Scottsdale and Fountain Hills.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, it's a good location.
And
about half our customers are from Scottsdale. So.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And Haus has a cool story. They have, there's so much, it's so much more than just a brewery. There's a whole story behind it. There's a whole kind of, all your beers are based on Arizona legends. And so tell us a little bit about that and how you guys came up with that. And,
happy to. So we took some liberties with history and we steeped our whole story along the lines of the Lost Dutchman legend here in Arizona. So there is an actual Jacob Waltz, who is a prospector miner that came across from Germany, immigrated from Germany, tried his luck in California, didn't do so well, came to Arizona and had supposedly found a very large nugget of gold. And then there's all this lore and history around the Lost Dutchman mine. So people have been looking for this mine since, the late 1800s, and there's all this mystery around it too. So there's murders involved around this story, and so we've just took that story and kind of put our own story inside that. So we write the story around Hans von Bierman, who's our patriarch to the brewery, and he is the alleged nephew of the Lost Dutchman. So Jacob Waltz. And so our story is based on, he gets a letter from his estranged uncle in the Arizona territory. He comes across looking for gold, helping him out. And he's from a brewer's family. When he gets to the Arizona territory, he can't find his uncle, can't find the mine. And so he does what he knows best, which is open a tavern called the Bone House. And he starts mining customers for information about, the mine or his uncle or anything associated with mining in the desert. And so all of our can labels, all of our story, all of our tap room is based on the journal of Hans von Bierman and his exploits trying to find the mine and his uncle.
I like that. Hans von Bierman sounds kind of like one of your relatives, right? Johan,
exactly.
From the old country. And Warnholtz might be a distant relative.
Yeah.
On the drinking side, of course.
So every time you guys come out with a new beer, you sit down and write a new chapter.
I write a new entry for his journal.
That's incredible.
So, and then I work with an artist called Mike Whelan. He's here in Phoenix on the west side. And I've been working with him for, I don't know, maybe 18, 20 years. And so I write the story. I give him the story. I give him some references online, I want to use this lantern or this revolver or this, just pieces of history from that era. And then he'll send me a line sketch within a day or two. And then we'll go back and forth on it. And then usually within a week, we have a full finished label with the story, with the art and everything in it.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And he always hides a 13 in the art.
Yeah.
Too,
I was going to say that was part of our, we did our Best of the Valley event.
Yes.
And we had a scavenger hunt there.
That's right.
And part of the scavenger hunt was you had to find the hidden 13 in your label. So that's super cool. The other question I had about the story was, is there a place where people can go to read the journal? Is it on your website?
Right now, the best way to do that is either on our website, where there's a place called Label Art or Can Art, I think it's called, on our website. And then also on the actual labels themselves. So every label has their own story.
Love it.
I am in the process of running and writing the entire we're calling it Bonehouse Chronicles, but
I love it.
Also got to run the business. So
yeah, that's so cool.
It's kind of more on the hobby status.
So Keith, speaking of your new chapters, what are some of the new beers that you've recently written about and introduced in the last couple of weeks?
Sure. We're in our seasonal section of the year. So some really exciting beers coming out. We just launched our Head Harvester, which is our pumpkin pie amber ale, and it clocks in at 13%. And
have you heard of this, Johan?
No, but I'm excited.
Amber ale at 13%.
And actually this year it came out at 13.13 on the measurement.
There you go.
And it's 13 IBU. So I don't know. Common theme of 13.
That's not where the hidden 13 is on the can.
No. There's a bunch of 13s on that one.
I was going to say the can art is just a big 13.
That's pretty whopping right there. 13. Hey, there it is.
That's awesome.
So the Head Harvester is one of our villains in the story. So he's he basically is an estranged farmer with a pumpkin head that kind of goes around, he's a skull head, but he harvests pumpkin heads. So he goes around kind of menacing around with Hans von Bierman. So yeah,
love that. Well, can we taste it?
Of course.
Let's do that.
I like as Keith kind of pours, maybe just do a flight or something and show off these flights. They have these cool coffins. They're kind of right above you there. Yeah. Coffin shaped flight board, 4 of them on there, and really cool design. Kind of goes along with the theme and the motif of Bonehouse Brewing. And I wanted to mention, by the way, congrats on the Reader's Choice for Best of the Valley.
Thank you.
You guys won for Best Helles Lager.
The Shimmer, right?
Yeah,
Sonoran Shimmer.
Sonoran Shimmer. So clap it up for them.
Yeah.
Nice job.
And it's a good Helles Lager. It's one of my favorite styles of beer. So
it's become a staple here for sure.
That was one that I got a pour kind of early in the night, and I was, we were working that event, but that felt so good drinking that pour of the Sonoran Shimmer Helles Lager. It really, really hit the spot, and there wasn't anything missing about that. It was a fantastic beer. I enjoyed it a lot.
In looking at your beer list, there's definitely a German theme.
Sure.
Would you say that that's kind of the styles that you guys typically lean towards, or
we're actually well known for a wide variety of styles.
Sure.
So we try to have a little bit of everything for everyone. We don't want to overburden everyone with a ton of IPAs.
Yeah.
Although in our production cycle that sometimes occurs, but for the most part, we try to always have a darker beer, a lighter beer, IPAs, something in the middle, and then something unique. Either a fruited beer and now with our seasonals coming out, it's going to be, a lot of ABV, a lot of interesting flavors. And
yeah, I noticed you guys have an alt beer, and I feel like that's a style that not a lot of people do.
No. And that one's actually fresh hopped with Cristal hops. So,
wow.
So basically what happens there is we get the hops from the hop farm, and within 24 hours, we brew that beer with those fresh hops. And this is a German amber alt beer. So
love that.
Yeah.
Another one of my favorite styles. Yeah.
It's a harvest beer. So
very cool.
Yep. All right. Well, pour.
Yeah. Sweet. So while he does that, we have a chance now to talk more about Bonehouse will obviously be at the Arizona Craft Beer Awards and Festival coming up in October, right?
Yep. We're doing it out at the Heritage at Sportsman's Park, which is the venue that's built on the great lawn of the Cardinal Stadium in Glendale. We're going to be there October 22nd from noon to 5. Noon is the VIP entry and 1 o'clock is the general admission entry. We're going to have somewhere around 40 to 50 breweries there, a bunch of food, a bunch of great vendors, and it's just going to be a good time. October 22nd, and we're going to be announcing the winners to our Arizona Craft Beer Awards the week leading up to the festival, and we're actually judging those awards next weekend. So or this weekend. This weekend, yeah. So
I have it blocked out on my calendar for this coming weekend.
That's
so
right.
It better be this weekend, right?
Yeah, no, it is this weekend. And so we're just very excited to be putting on our first beer festival, working very closely with the Arizona Craft Brewers Guild. They're sort of coordinating the awards portion of it. We're putting on the event. And so it's going to be a good time. You got to check out azcraftbeer.com to get your tickets, and then also go to your local Sprouts, your local AJ's, and check out our latest issue of Phoenix Magazine, which is our beer issue.
Yeah, the beer issue,
it's really awesome.
The beer issue just came out at the beginning of September, and we talk about 93 craft beer destinations, across the state, not just here in the Valley, but down in Tucson, Flagstaff, even up in Colorado City, which I know you like to go to on vacation a lot, right?
I've never been to Colorado City, but there's a brewery out there that is doing some really great work. There's some other breweries that I hadn't heard of when I when I read through the issue, and so I think the issue has a lot of great. Basically, it's split up into regions, and it gives you sort of a brewery tour, a pub crawl, so to speak, in each region that you can either walk through or get a ride through, and it's a lot of fun.
Look at that. So Keith is back here after pouring a flight. Kind of moved one of the cameras around to show that. So Keith, as you get back on the microphone, tell us what is on this flight. What do we pour today?
Okay, so to start off with, in the number one position at the top of the coffin is Head Harvester that we just talked about. That's our pumpkin pie amber ale at 13%, 13 IBU.
Go ahead and try that, Johan. I want you to go first on that one.
Wow, starting heavy.
I have to work the rest of the day, so. Early thoughts, impressions? He's giving us some time here.
You can taste the booze.
Yes.
But not in like it complements the pumpkin really, really well.
Yeah, it's not pumpkin spice. We kind of avoided kind of the traditional pumpkin spice latte vibe. Went straight to pumpkin pie. So it's kind of a dessert amber strong.
Yeah,
which is really a strange combination, but I think it works. Yeah.
But the malts kind of give it that pie sort of bready kind of finish to it. And then the booziness it makes it taste almost more like a cocktail.
Yeah.
But this is delightful. This is really good. I could get down with some of this.
Yeah.
Johan's down with the amber ale, Head Harvester.
Yep.
Brand new. Just came out last week, Keith?
Yes. Yeah, we launched it last week and be available all the way through Halloween.
Fall is in the air, Johan. I'm feeling it. Maybe it was last night's storm. It rained at my house big time. It felt really cool this morning. Obviously, it's warmed up now, but
the lows are in the 70s now. Yeah, in the mornings and the evenings, it's nice out.
Is that good for brewing? Is it like monsoon, the humidity and all that?
Yeah, we temperature control everything in our process, so it's really not a difficult situation for the beer. It's more difficult for the people in the building.
Sure.
So as it gets a little more humid, it's sweat a little more when you brew. Yeah. But other than that,
what I love most about fall and winter is these kinds of beers.
Yeah,
is bringing out those barrel aged stouts and your porters and your darker, just warming sort of ambers. Exactly. This is right on the money for that.
Yeah, some of those beers have sat in my fridge for a long time, and I've just been looking at them, waiting to pop them open. And a stout hits different this time of year.
I have a friend who has bourbon counties from every year for the last 8 years.
Nice.
And every year we go to the oldest one, and the next year we go to the oldest one. So we've
actually done that with Head Harvester and our Imperial Stout coming up for Black Friday, which is Fisk and Gold. It's a Imperial Maple Chocolate Stout.
Ooh.
So we've actually, a lot of our staff members have actually stored them over the years.
Okay.
So we still have our first runs aging.
Is that something you release, or is it for your own personal?
There's only a handful of them, so it's kind of a staff gets together. And,
love that.
And pops one open. Yeah,
love that.
Yeah.
So what's the next one?
So the next one is Reaper's Widow, which is our amber alt beer that we also just talked about. It's fresh hopped with Cristal hops, and this is our harvest beer.
I'm gonna get in on that, Matt.
Yeah, that's really easy, smooth. The color might indicate something that you expect maybe something else, but it really goes down differently than it looks. So,
yeah, it almost tastes like one of those kind of older style, West Coast IPAs where it's like you got a really strong malt backing, but you still have that hop.
Yeah, the fresh hops really shine on this.
It really shines through, but it's really, really balanced. It's not puckery or anything. It's really, really nicely balanced with the malts.
You could tell that's like easily the freshest beer that you're going to have today, right? Keith, tell me a little bit about you guys. I noticed you guys were up in Flagstaff over the weekend, right?
Yes.
Doing a what was it, like a benefit festival for flood relief up in Flagstaff?
Right. Yeah. For flood relief for Flagstaff. It was held at Snow Bowl. And we just recently signed on with Legacy Beverage as our distributor up there. So this was kind of our first event together. So we went up there and supported the cause, and we had a great time. The weather behaved a little bit, so it started raining, got a little cold, and then but it ended up being a great day. And raised a lot of good money for Flagstaff. So
I've definitely noticed that you guys, Bonehouse has a really strong festival presence.
We do now. At first, we felt we weren't really prepared for it, and we wanted to attend a bunch before participating in them. And now we have a dedicated person that actually runs our entire events, which is Sean Green.
Yeah.
And he kind of coordinates all of the, the pizzazz with the event. So it's really fun for us to do. And Rachel Benkowski too. Usually those two are the front line of our events. And they just love doing it.
Yeah.
They get super excited about it. So
yeah, they were both at Best Fest last event for us.
Exactly.
And pouring the Sonoran Shimmer. And another one, I forget which one it was that was pouring. They brought two. It might have been the Engelman's Elixir, I think.
It was, yeah.
Which is
that's on
good segue. That's the fourth one
that's
here,
the
right?
fourth one, yeah.
So and then that one, prickly pear ale, I guess, is that?
Yeah,
is that right?
It's an American pale ale.
Okay.
And it's we call it prickly pear ale because it's kind of a generic pale ale, but as a base. But it also has Madagascar vanilla in it to kind of balance out the bitterness from the prickly pear fruit. So if you go out into the desert, eat prickly pear fruit after you process a little bit, it's going to be a little gamey, a little sour. So we balance that out with the Madagascar vanilla.
It works really well. The vanilla comes through,
it's our second best-selling beer.
It almost the combination of the two almost gives it sort of a milky, creamy, sort of almost like a cream ale kind of finish.
Exactly,
cream ale, and so you get some of that sweetness then too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely,
okay, very good. You brought up the distribution through Legacy. Now, that's very important for you guys because now you're shipping all over the country, right?
Yeah, so we have 3 distributors we work with. We work with Crescent Crown Distributing here in the Valley. We signed with them in January, and they've been super helpful in getting our beer out to the Valley.
One of our sponsors for the festival.
Well, there you go.
Hey, shout out sponsor.
Yeah, they're a huge support for us. So it's we can't say enough about that partnership. It's been really great. And through that partnership, we actually got introduced to Legacy, and who also partners, and we signed with them. So now we have the Valley covered, the northern and eastern Arizona covered, and then about 2 months ago, we actually signed with a distributor in New York called Tap RM or Tap Room. And the reason we signed with them is because they have the ability to ship direct to consumer in 45 states.
Wow.
So they've collected all these licenses, which are not easy to get, or it's a lot of work to get them. And so they also have a brick and mortar distribution in New York. So we're distributed in New York State now, and also Philadelphia, just the city, because of some kind of connection they have there. But then the beauty of it is they're able to ship to 45 states direct to consumer. So we're able to leverage their shipping costs, and because they're fairly huge in doing that type of business. So that helps because recently we did a crowdsourcing campaign to kind of get investors for the brewery. And that ended up, we partnered with Start Engine, which is part of the Shark Tank's guy, Mr. Wonderful, kind of helped that. And so basically they're doing crowdsourcing for small companies, startups. And when we went through that, we raised a little over $850,000.
Wow.
And we had all of a sudden a national audience with investors. And so, I think we have investors almost in every state at this point. And so people are constantly asking, hey, how can we get our beer? How can we get our beer? And we can't legally ship it to them direct. So we found Tap RM to kind of help us with that.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I like that because people need Bonehouse and and Engelman's Elixir or the Dutchman's IPA or the hazy IPA. They need that in their hand and all across the country, honestly.
This is the goal.
Yeah, it's good stuff. And I don't know if you saw their Instagram the other day, Johan. They have beers that are showing up in Japan now.
No kidding.
Yes.
What, do you know the story behind that?
Yes, actually, it's actually one of our former food truck vendors who since moved on to be. He started a family and kind of didn't do the food truck thing anymore. And his mother-in-law is from Japan, so she came to visit, and she's a total craft beer nerd, which is so awesome.
That's
this little old lady from Japan just comes in and she sits at the bar, tastes all, doesn't speak a word of English, just nods when she's tasting the beer. And she took 2 4-packs, packed them in her luggage, took them all the way to Japan, and sent us photos in front of a temple in Japan.
That's so cool.
In a garden. So
awesome.
We just love that enthusiasm for our beer.
The Bonehouse Chronicles are international.
Now in Japan.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love that.
So does Hans von Bierman translate to Japanese? Is that
I don't know.
Could there maybe be a sequel or a prequel where that
or how about like an anime?
Yeah, do a samurai.
Like an anime adaptation of the Well, that's super cool.
We just come up with drinking ideas sometimes on this.
Who doesn't?
So since we skipped number 3, let's go back to Peralta's Treasure. Tell us about this one.
So Peralta's Treasure is a hazy IPA, around 5%. The interesting thing about this one is it's actually no wheat in it. So this is wheat free.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, you get a lot of requests for that to go totally like gluten free.
We try to provide a few of those options, for gluten reduced and also for wheat free beers. Like Carbide Light, our blonde ale is always gluten reduced.
Okay.
So we always have at least one beer on tap and available in cans for that. But this has got fantastic aroma, by the way. I love a good hazy that just hits the nose right away before you even taste it.
What's in it?
You know what? I'm gonna look.
Let's find out.
Again, Keith is the owner and founder. He doesn't do the brewing, so
I don't.
But he's a fantastic salesman, fantastic guest here.
So Peralta's Treasure is also a rotating IPA as well.
Okay, so it changes.
Yeah, it changes every time we do it. So this one features Citra and Eldorado hops.
Yeah.
And for those of you who don't know, Peralta is one of the trails out in the Superstition Mountains.
Yes, there's a strong history.
A couple of brothers, right? Peralta brothers, or
I think there's a family. There's a story of it's a Mexican family.
Yeah,
that was supposedly
massacred by the Apaches.
Yeah, they were trying to do the mining thing here in Arizona as well. There's a movie called The Lust for Gold, which was I think made in the early 60s.
Okay,
that captures that whole scenario really, really well.
Yeah,
and it ties in the Lost Dutchman mine as well. But yeah, they were massacred by the Apaches, supposedly. There's supposedly a mine or a cache of gold somewhere that they were supposed to store. So there's all kinds of misdirection legends, of course.
Yeah.
But so part of the story here for us is that Hans von Bierman was looking for his mine or his uncle's mine and came across this story about the Peralta's family. And so that's kind of how that beer kind of evolved.
I love that. I've done a little bit of research into the whole Lost Dutchman legend over the years. I've always been fascinated with it.
It is cool.
And so I love that all these beers have some tie-in into that. And so you can kind of identify. If you know the story, you can kind of identify.
Absolutely.
So that's really cool. Yeah. Speaking, I know you mentioned Rachel earlier. Mm-hmm. Tell us a little bit about Rachel's beer school.
Yeah.
And what you guys do.
In fact, that's happening tomorrow night. So
perfect.
Here at Bonehouse. So Rachel Binkowski is, she's been with us, I think 4 years now. She was a customer that we just hired. She is working on her level 2 Cicerone. So she's already passed her written test. And a Cicerone is like a sommelier for beer.
Right.
So for those unfamiliar with the term. So she is taking her tasting test in the fall. And if she passes that, she'll be a Cicerone level 2, goes up to 4. And there's only like 22 level 4s in the country or in the world, I believe. So it gets very difficult as you go up. Anyway, we kind of brainstormed about how to do customer education on some of our beers. And, we don't have televisions in the tap room. We don't do sports or anything like that. So the bartenders interact a lot with the customers. And so we do most of our customer engagement that way and teaching about the beers through our bartenders, which she does quite well. And we said, hey, why don't we just do a presentation of you doing that? Because she also happens to have a master's degree in Egyptology. So she is a fanatic about history and also about beer. So between the two things, it's like she's the perfect person to give this presentation. So what we do is once a month here at Bone House, I think it's the second Tuesday of every month, she will prescribe syllabus, and she'll pick 4 of our beers that we have on tap or in cans. She'll teach you how to taste the beer, how to smell the beer, how to look at the beer, and learn what you can from that. So it's very interactive. We have a lot of subjective and objective back and forth. And then she'll tell you a little bit about the brewing process, and then also the history of that style of beer. So cool. We tie all of that in, and we do a flight of 4. It's usually sold out every time. And then we started taking that out on the road. So last week we ended up going to 2 of our customer locations and doing beer school remote at other locations. So we've got a few scheduled throughout the fall.
That's amazing.
She's going to take it on the road.
Is it because it's been so popular here at the brewery?
Yeah. We sell out probably a week in advance, and we only have seating enough for like 30 people in that area. So kind of maxes out there. And even though if she goes over the same beer in like back-to-back sessions, she takes a completely different tact on it. So she might talk about, the malt profile one time and then the hop profile on another, or lead you through some part of history or the brewing process. So each time it's unique and different.
That's really cool.
And she puts a lot of time and effort into it. And it definitely shows.
She, I think she had a schedule conflict, but she was going to be a judge for the awards this year.
Yes, she was,
but she isn't going to be able to be in town this weekend for the judging. But I'm sure next year we'll have her
Absolutely.
as a judge.
She would be a fine choice for that.
Yeah, we're just starting to get this awards and festival rolling here to kind of spurn on competition. How important is that to you guys at the brewery to engage in that sort of competition in award season?
Oh, so we do bottle shares all the time amongst the staff. Like so actually, like every Thursday night after we close, DJ, our taproom manager, and Rachel do beer studies together. So they actually go through their Cicerone program together. DJ is also working on his level 2 Cicerone, and so a bunch of us will just kind of hijack that and start bottle sharing other people's beers. And then we also have a Christmas party where the rule is no Bone House beer. So everyone brings beer from outside. And, on weekends, we're all friends too. So we kind of hang out, and we almost never have Bone House beer. It's always something else. And we get inspired by other brewers too. So like, we got inspired to do a marshmallow porter because we had just a fantastic one. And it's like, oh, we should try to do one. So it's not so much competition. It's just more inspiration. It's like, oh, did you see what these guys are doing? This is a really cool beer. Yeah. So I think that's the one thing I really love about this industry is it doesn't feel like very cutthroat at all. It's like, our distributor, Legacy, actually, one of the representatives there said, oh, there's always room for another beer, so, and that's exactly right. It's like,
so collaborative. So.
Yeah, it is. And it's like, oh, if all craft beer rises, we all win. So it's good. So I think we just appreciate the art of other breweries, I mean, we're only 4.5 years old. So, we're still learning. We're still trying to improve everything. And then when you get inspired by a taste of a beer or something somebody's doing, it's like, oh, wow, that's really cool.
Yeah.
And then we kind of take our own take on that. So.
Love that.
Uh-huh.
So we have one more.
Yes.
The Desert Distortion.
So Desert Distortion,
this one.
That is our New England IPA. And that is our best-selling beer. That one also rotates hops. In this version, we've got a combination of Citra, Cascade, Chinook, and El Dorado. So
heavy citrus.
Yeah, number one. And you guys will kind of variate, I guess, create variants like a blood orange style off of this.
Yeah. And that's a staple here as well. Yeah. So that one's called Lechai. Lechai is the Navajo word for red. And so
I'm glad you pronounced that, because I look at that and I'm like, lychee.
Yeah. And I get lychee.
I'll get it right next time I order it. It's Lechai. All right, good.
As far as I know. I don't speak Navajo, so. But so we got inspired kind of by some of this local history stories to do a version of that. And
what is the difference between a New England IPA and a hazy IPA?
I'm not sure there is a lot of difference.
Okay.
I think it's more in how you're going to brand it, to be honest. Yeah.
Yeah, some of us West Coast guys are like, New England, get out of here with that. I want a hazy IPA.
Yeah.
Like I think I'm drinking something else, right?
Yeah. I think it's just depending on how you want to market it, to be honest.
Yeah, fair enough. I like how you guys also have really fun, unique, stuff around the brewery. We've talked about that. Your tap handles have skulls on them and bones, and there's no TVs, but some of your merchandise is pretty cool too. You guys have. You guys sell coffee beans. And
we have our own line of coffee.
You have like spice rubs and even a skateboard deck. Have you ever seen anything like that at a brewery before? I have. I mean,
three of us here skate, so we kind of we're like, let's do a skateboard.
Is that what inspired that? You guys?
That, and we also wanted to. It's our art's perfect for kind of the skateboard. It's just we just want to try to offer something new for our customers. Because we have a lot of regulars who just kind of collect our merch too. So we try to freshen up our merch offerings. We have the standards that are always there, but like we'll rotate in different colors of sweatshirts and tank tops, and then we'll do tin tackers one year, or we'll do skateboards or special growlers.
You ever done men's tank tops, or is it always women's tank tops?
So far it's only Racerback women's. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you let me know when you do a men's tank top.
Yeah, we have had multiple requests.
Because I have only ever been to one brewery, and all the breweries I've been to, and it's gotta be more than 100 now. I've only ever been to one brewery that had a men's tank top.
Modest, by the way, 100.
And it was Modern Times in San Diego, and that made sense to me because it's San Diego.
Sure.
And like board shorts and tank top is what you wear.
Makes sense.
But every brewery I go to, they have the women's tank tops and then just t-shirts for the men. I'm like, I want those tank tops.
Yeah, merch is supposed to just be mugs, stickers, and a t-shirt, right? I mean, these guys are sitting here doing spice rubs and skateboarding stuff here.
I love that. I love it because I'm sure the spice rubs and all that stuff goes well with. Maybe pairs well if you're using it with the beers. Like it's all thought of that way.
For sure.
Really cool.
Yep.
Awesome. Well,
can I end with something here? I think people online have been fascinated with the story of Grandpa Sam also. Can we introduce Grandpa Sam on the microphone? Tell us about him.
So my father, my father and my son work here. So my father is now a TikTok star. Against his will. This is Grandpa Sam, and he reviews a beer every Sunday on TikTok. And I think Rachel put you up to that, didn't she? Derek and Rachel, one of my oldest son. And my youngest son Tyler works here as well, and he makes our tap handles actually out in distribution. Cool. Yeah, the wood ones. So
he's going to grab one here as we're narrating the audio of it. Yeah, Grandpa Sam. Follow them on Instagram and TikTok.
Yeah,
TikTok. It's a great video.
Oh, here it is. He's got one. Yeah. So the reviews typically are not very technical, but they're a lot of fun. So yeah,
I love that. I think it makes things like that accessible.
So every Father's Day we typically do the 3 generations behind the bar. So
very cool.
Yeah, my youngest son can do the POS, and my father refuses to do the POS, so the register. So
it's great. He can't do the register, but he can do TikTok. So it's
exactly
the sign of the times, I guess.
Exactly.
And he was telling us beforehand he's getting noticed. He's popular around town, right? He's getting noticed.
He is. Everyone knows him. Yeah. So I used to travel a lot for work before Bonehouse, and so he would take my kids to all the schools and stuff and be a professional grandpa. So he's just kind of kept that in the town.
There you
so
go.
Like everybody knows him as Grandpa Sam. So
continuing the role, Grandpa Sam.
So to finish up, give us. Is there any beer launches or anything you're doing coming up soon? Do you have any events coming up soon? Give us a little.
Yeah, so we're going down to Button Brew in Tucson next weekend for their like parking lot festival. Very and cool. Then I think Sean and Rachel are on that. And then I think that's in October, actually. And then we have Fisk and Gold is our next. It's an Imperial Stout with maple and chocolate. So that's being launched in time for Black Friday in November.
Okay. Awesome. Is that in cans or just on draft?
That'll be both.
Okay, great. Yeah. I always love a good Black Friday because the shopping I'm not into anymore. Obviously, you can get all your stuff online, but the beer releases have been really, really cool.
Yeah.
Oso used to do their Bananarchies and all that. I know Goldwater does a Black Friday now. Bone House is going to be one of my stops here on Black Friday this year. May be my only stop, honestly. So it's just right up the road from where I live in Northeast Mesa. So
nice.
That's one I haven't had before. So I have to make it
once a year. Yeah. And the label and the story on the label is literally about Black Friday. So
fun.
Fisk and Gold basically cornered the gold market in the late 1800s, crashed the entire market, and kind of got away with it. They didn't get punished too bad. So that story is all about them. And so we made it a very decadent, maple and chocolate Imperial Stout. It's 10%. It comes in pretty. But it's really smooth.
I didn't realize Black Friday went all the way back to the times of Hans on.
Yeah, it was commandeered. I think it was dead for a while, and then it came back in the 50s for shopping. So
nice.
Yeah. Right on.
Well, Keith, thank you so much for having us into the Bonehouse Brewing tap room here in Fountain Hills. Food truck on pretty much all the time, right?
Yeah, most days. Yeah. And if not,
live
you can bring your own
music
food.
too on most days or weekends.
Definitely Fridays and Saturdays, and for the fall season, we've booked almost every Thursday as well. So awesome. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, we'll have live music.
Yeah, this is a great spot when they open up these garage doors here and the cooler weather rolls in. Awesome spot to sit on the patio and just look. Great view here too. You can't beat the view. So get out here to Bonehouse Brewing. Check them out at the Arizona Craft Beer Festival.
That's right.
That's right.
We'll see you on October 22nd at that.
Yep.
azcraftbeer.com for tickets.